Hey guys. What's up, everyone? Put this over here, put this over here. I hope you're going to enjoy this presentation. Now, for those of you watching this on YouTube, for a little bit of backstory, we're starting early, about 40 minutes early, give or take, because we have a couple of things that I wanted to cover before we actually got to the E3 thing. I just wanted to do a brief E3 thing. And naturally, I really want... Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn on the webcam. Sorry, guys. Hang on. Here, let me get it on there. There we go. I think this really encapsulates my overall feelings about E3, just kind of in a nutshell, really. This is a great way to explain exactly what I feel about. It's a genuine question, guys. Genuine question. Um, I'm our Shin guy. I'm the lore runner, and I don't have a lot of flash to my show. We've talked about this before. And I was actually just refreshing myself on a couple of things regarding previous E3s. And I noticed there was this other E3 pre-show thing, kind of like what I'm doing right now. And and this thing I'm doing right now is me sitting in front of a green screen in my bedroom, my only room, actually, uh, talking to you guys. And I saw this other thing. And it was four people who had headsets on and were connected to a studio, and they had live people on the cameras, and they had an actual set and a table, and they had fancy 3D graphics playing the logo of whatever site they're affiliated with. I don't even remember, to be honest with you, in the background, and they had footage randomly just showing random bits of footage from the games they were talking about, and had the four of them discussing. It was, in other words, what you would call high production values. And I was looking at that. And I was staring at it, and I was like, that doesn't appeal to me. For me, I would rather have someone like myself. And I'm not saying this to be self-aggrandizing. I mean this sincerely. I would rather have a guy talking, chatting, being like, hey, and covering the stuff in the background rather than this big flash and dazzle with no substance. Because I actually watched a bit of that pre-show, and it was terrible. They didn't discuss anything of meaning. It was like, are you super excited about this? Yeah, I'm super excited about this. Are you super excited about this? Oh, I can't wait to find out about this. And what about this other thing? Oh, it's going to be great. And super excited. Now, don't mistake this for me being against positivity. That is, of course, not what I'm talking about. My point is there was no substance. There was nothing there. It was four people yammering on while the camera crews are doing this thing. And it was just all this fluff. It was nonstop fluff. But I ask you guys, what do you think? Are you watching my pre-show? Obviously, this question's weird to my live viewers, but I ask you this of my YouTube viewers as well, who see this in the future. Did you watch this? Did you watch someone else's show? What's your preference? Genuine question here. Legit question. Because there's something to be said for production values. And in all honesty, if I won the lottery tomorrow, having an actual, studio is something I'd like to do. And actually being like, hey, is something I'd like to do. It would still be me, of course. I wouldn't change the content of my show, but I would like to have those kind of production values. It's just that's a lot more expensive than you might imagine. And I should know because I've done that stuff in the past. So it's not like, So yeah, okay. So while I wait for chat to catch up and people answer me that question, you see we got a counter up there today. This is well, I bet you guys can know what this counter is. I'll give you a hint. We here believe that we need to have a counter regarding certain types of incidents at this year's E3. And this here is a counter. You get it. It's the hands counter. It's the hands counter. I actually happened to... I was editing, and I usually leave my Twitch chat up, even if I'm not actually there, and I happened to glance over it, and I noticed Samurai, and I forget who, someone else were like, God, I wish I really could get a hands counter for the E3 thing, and I was like, okay. So I made a mental note, and... yeah. Don't worry, guys. So this first thing is the EA presentation. Now, anybody who knows my show knows that my show is integrally tied into BioWare. There's no denying that Mass Effect has had a huge impact on my show. And so I've always kind of given it a little more attention than I otherwise would. Um, and I'm really so this basically I'm probably going to be basically I put a little more effort into this particular presentation than the other ones that are going to be happening in the future. Yeah, exactly, Samurai. So here's hoping. We do know they're doing something with Andromeda. We do know they're presenting something about Andromeda today. Last year, if you'll remember, they presented about a minute and a half of just random muck. It was just the Snites in the sky, Ghost Riders in the sky, and that was basically it. So who knows? It's also absolutely sweltering here. It's like 98 or something today, and I'm under lights in a room with the doors closed in a heavy outfit. So if I start kind of panting and sweating, that's why. No worries, no worries, guys. I've got a big old bottle of booze. You can't even see it because it's green. I've got a big old bottle of booze ready to go for the Mass Effect Andromeda stuff. I'm kidding. This is not actually booze. Here, I'll even prove it. It's San Pellegrino. Anyways, all right. I do want to talk about a couple things before we start. I do have an actual pre-show planned here. So, part of the things I wanted to talk about. I'm sorry, Marley. I'm sorry, Frozen. My heart goes out to you. Especially, I have a huge intolerance for heat in general. I do have actual, Canada Dry here, so we're good on that. Yeah, it's pretty expensive though, Raskor. Someone asked, whoa, what's this? That's got to be an advert. I actually have the EA stream live on the background just so I can tell when it's going live. Come on, I had a pre-show plan and everything. Don't interrupt me, EA. Come on. Looks like they're just doing adverts. Okay, we'll just mute that for now. I'll just keep an eye on it. I had two things I wanted to talk about before we got going. So first, I want to talk about something that's a little more me. I know you guys will know what I mean when I start talking about this. I have often felt that the method of presentation matters more than the content, or at the very least, as much as the content. You watch it right here, Grunge. Don't worry. I actually have a method to stream it live. In fact, I can prove that to you. I can prove that I can stream it live because technically it's live right now. They're just not doing anything at the moment. Yeah, you're gonna have to give me a moment to prove this. One moment. Here we go. See? I'm going to have to actually readjust the size just a little bit to make this work. Here we go. And like this. Like so. Voila. And there's the EA press conference right behind me. As you can see, they're not actually doing anything yet. So, I'm just going to go ahead and pause that. So, I haven't finished my point because I got interrupted. Darn it, Grunge. So here's my point, okay? I have often felt that if I tell you blah, well, that matters. Hey, Daffodils. If I tell you blah, that matters. What I tell you matters. However, the real key thing is how I tell it to you. What I don't tell you. My body language, my tone, how I present myself, how I present everything that I do. Everything that I do is getting across information in addition to the vocality, right? Actually, I could do that, Andre. I'll think about it, but let me finish talking first. Actually, you know what? I could do that really easily. I could just do this. I'm never going to finish my thoughts. It's never going to happen. One, a little bit more, a little bit more. There we go. Perfect. I'll just pull it up to there. Voila. And we'll have a really boring background. That's not quite what I mean, John. In fact, that's not what I mean at all. So let me explain what I mean by the presentation values. I actually talk about this in a rumination I did very, very recently. But in my opinion, anything can be made to be engaging or interesting or something you care about. It depends on how you present it to someone. And I like to use Neil deGrasse Tyson as my perfect example of this. Neil deGrasse Tyson is someone who is very charismatic. He's got good presentation values. Science, I'm sorry, is not innately interesting. Not everyone is going to find science as interesting as others are, as people like me are. I love science, but science can also be presented very poorly to the point where it's dry, which is basically the encyclopedia effect, aka you're just reading a boring situation about how the physics move in this direction and maybe, you know. However, Neil deGrasse Tyson knows how to present science. The way he says it matters. Yeah, Carl Sagan did this as well. Carl Sagan is the exact same thing. So you know, presentation value matters. I mentioned this last year. Remember when we were going through the Square Enix conference? Now, people bashed me for this, but they seem to kind of miss my point. The point of the point I was trying to make back then was the Square Enix conference showcased stuff I actually agreed with, the stuff that I actually liked. Hang on just a second. Why don't we go ahead and readjust this? Things that I was interested in, but their presentation values were so bad that it got to the point where I was just disinterested in what they were saying. By contrast, if you have something... Here we go. I'm fiddling with stuff, don't mind me. If you... No. By contrast, if you have something that's not that interesting, but is presented well, that can make it more interesting than it otherwise might be. Even though it is technically lacking in meat, the presentation values help to emphasize it and bring it out. You know what I mean? Oh, I know, Frozen. It was so bad. It was so bad. STDIN. So, now, this is partially related to what we're going to be talking about here. There we go. Okay. So what I want to do now, let's pull this over here, and do this. But there's one other thing that's really important that I wanted to talk about here, and it has to do with what you don't say. People communicate more than they think with what they say, how they say it, and most importantly of all, what they do not say. One of the things that I have said for years and years and years is I actually have a good overall feel, for lack of a better term, on corporate industries in general. Not just because I've worked in them, but because I pay attention. And what I mean by that, I don't mean that to sound dismissive. What I mean by that is that, yes, Grunch. If you check the website, I have every conference I intend to cover. What I mean by that is one of the best possible ways to understand corporate America is to understand how they present their information to the public and how they don't present it, what they don't say. Everything about the presentation tells you what they are not trying to tell you. I have actually been really good at predicting trends and future with regards to corporate America many times because I pay attention to what they're not saying, because I pay attention to how they're not saying it, because I pay attention to what they are saying, and because I'm paying attention to how they're saying it. And now I feel like I'm presenting this badly because I'm not exactly the most charismatic person in the world, but I hope you at least get my point. So every time I look at this stuff, I see it and I'm like, so that's where you're going with this. Because remember, E3 is not about the developers or the games. It's about the marketing team. It's about the publishers, and it's about the business side of things. E3 is a business expo. You want to actually talk about the games, you go to one of the other conventions. You go to PAX, or you go to Gen Con, or you go to whatever the hell else, and go to those and say, hey, let's actually talk about the game side of things, right? E3 is not about the games. So through E3, we could learn a great deal about where we're going right now in terms of corporate culture, in terms of where trends are, in terms of what the money people and the people making the decisions are actually thinking, and how the marketing teams of these companies think of us at this point in history. It is a fantastic way, if you have the time and interest, to really dissect and analyze it to understand corporate America at this point in time. It's a really good insight into that. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to cover E3. Because, again, I'm mostly about the games, right? I mean, games are awesome, right? But I always have been the kind of person who likes to know about how it came to be. I like the behind the scenes perspective. I like how it was made. I like why it was made the way it was made. There's a reason why almost every rumination I do, whether it's television or game or movie or book, I have a section that's just the behind the scenes insight. Here's how this movie came to be. Here's how this was made into this. Because that sort of thing is fascinating to me. And I hope it's fascinating to you guys too. So, yeah. So hi to everyone I have not said hi to yet. Lots of people today. This is awesome. Yeah, it's paused right now. Let's go ahead and hit play. We're gonna recapture. Yeah, it looks like they're still just getting ready, and they should be for another 20 minutes or so. I'm actually gonna mute that. There we go. Now, there's one other thing I want to talk about, of course. Now, I was hoping to actually get you guys footage, but unfortunately, getting footage was actually more difficult than it sounds. As horrible as that may seem, because every footage I got was, and I know this sounds horribly hypocritical, was something like that I would have done. In other words, footage with someone talking in front of it, kind of like, I plan to do today. So I couldn't find raw, clean footage of several things I wanted to show you guys, kind of as like an E3 pre-show. So instead, I watched some of that footage myself and took some notes. And I wanted to kind of share with you guys some of the worst of E3 in the past. I actually took a few notes. Feel free to share your worst, of course. I was talking a few of these in chat earlier. Whoa, what's this? What's this? They just changed something. What'd they do? Oh my god, the live pre-press show. Yeah, I'm going to leave that muted. No expectations. None. I'm walking into this thinking it's going to be the thing that it is. Let's turn this off. There we go. So I may actually close that. Hey, Full Metal Jedi. You know what? I think we should have another backdrop, but I can't do that because of the way that works. Yeah, that poor Untangled guy. Nope. Whoa, that's terrible. Whoa, that's even more terrible. Oh, it's all terrible. Oh my gosh. Why don't we do something nice and neat with it? Just something simple with our background. Just while we're standing here. Let's do, I don't know. Let's do this. It's kind of become my icon anyways. There we go. There we go. Now we got a little bit of a backdrop going on. Like so. Anyways. So let's talk about some of our previous favorite horrible E3 moments. So let's see. There was this thing in 2010 for Microsoft. Anyone remember that? 2010 Microsoft was when they first announced the Kinect. I was just rewatching it in preparation for this, and oh my god, I forgot how terrible it was. So they had, first of all, they went out, absolutely ripped off the Wii U. Absolutely ripped off Wii Sports. Or, yeah, not the Wii U, the Wii Sports thing. And they're like, yeah, and here's the bowling game, and here's the boxing game. Yeah, yeah. And they had the Dance Central thing. Remember that? Yeah, Dance Central. Whew. Yeah, yeah, Dance Central. Boo, yeah. Then they had the Connectimals. Do you remember that horribleness? Where they actually brought in a young girl who was like, that's it, Skittles, that's it, Skittles. Who's a good girl? No, Skittles, stop, please, no, stop licking me, Skittles. It was actually kind of horrifying, if I'm being completely honest. And yeah, you're right, let's not go with this one, let's go with another one. Seriously, does anyone remember that horribleness? Because I sure as hell do, and oh my god. You're right. Let's go something a little darker. Because I agree. That wasn't actually working right. Yeah, that'll work. I mean, it's mostly being covered by the EA thing, but that's a lot of it better. I still don't like that. Now I'm nitpicking. Now you got me nitpicking. Thanks, guys. Let's go with this one instead. This is going to be a much better one. There we go. Then we do this up here. And then this over here. Voila. There we go. That's a little better. Okay. The other thing, though. Oh my god. They had this thing where they were watching like Avatar: The Last Airbender, you know, the terrible one, and they had this completely utterly faked like Skype phone call through the Kinect. Oh, hey, is that The Last Airbender? Yeah. I hear there's a game about it soon. Oh, yeah, I remember that game. I think you've been using this to boost your gamer score. No way, dude. My gamer score is 100% legit. You remember that? Oh god, I remember that horribleness. There's a certain trend to people who are faking dialogue. Most people don't actually know how to do dialogue to make it sound even natural, both in terms of writing and in acting. And this was just both were terrible. Oh, hang on. Is this the pre-show? This is probably the pre-show thing. I'll unmute it for a second. I'm pretty sure it's the pre-show thing.
Jose Sanchez here with my buddy Alex Golden Boy Mendez, and we are here to kick off the EA Play live stream.
It's exciting times, folks. We're going to have great games all across the board from guys like Respawn, DICE, BioWare. Really, just the list goes on and on. I'm excited.
That's 3 games.
You know, Jose, what about you? What are you excited about here?
I might be a little bit biased, but I did happen to host the Battlefield 1 world premiere last month, so I definitely want to get my hands on some of that Battlefield 1.
No, I hosted that, 100%. I was there. I hosted it.
No, that was definitely me.
No, I was in San Francisco.
This is a good way to do
EA
dialogue
campus.
badly.
That's what it is. You were in San Francisco. See, I was in London at the world premiere HQ. Look, there's me right there on stage.
Okay, look. The only advantage that you had was that 500,000 plus people were watching you on Twitch. That's it. That's the only advantage. Otherwise, we're equals, man.
I mean,
Same person.
I got to show the trailer to the people in the audience twice because I snap my fingers and the trailer plays. All right, watch.
Play it first on Xbox One with EA Access.
All right. Look, I'll give that one to you. I'll give it. No. We don't need you to snap your fingers again, man.
Saying.
Okay, that is like clearly a dangerous tool. But I just want to say, you know, I'm a competitive guy, right? And a lot of people who know me know that I have commentated events all across the world, and I've been a part of some pretty crazy moments. But I think that this right here, Battlefield Squads, is going to be insane. A 64-player throwdown, and it's going to have, you know, broadcasters, YouTubers, celebrities. It's going to be insane. I can't wait.
Personally, I'm excited to see who takes it on. We got Team Neebs versus Team Stone Mountain 64 in 32v32 battle to the death.
It's insane. It's
Video game death, not actually.
Yeah, of course. That is.
I'm just gonna go and exercise my prerogative and tell these guys to shut the hell up. Oh my god! Why? Why? You don't. This is just. Why? Oh my god! I want to strangle these people. I mean, yeah, okay. I actually showcased the trailer earlier during our lore week section, but these people are like, yeah, it's totally great. Here's a bad joke. Yeah, no, I'm gonna say a bad joke in return in a totally unnatural way. Oh man, you totally got me on that one. And I love. Yeah, by the way, we're going to give this a hand counter because if you're paying attention, they're doing the hand thing while sitting with stuff in their laps. By the way, someday I may actually be at an E3, and I'll tell you how my E3 is going to go, because I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit of pendulum effect. Here's how my E3 is going to go. Here's the camera pointed at me like this. Hey guys, so I'm at frickin' E3. Isn't this cool? Check it out. We got some Battlefield 1 footage. I'll go show you. Walk, walk, walk. And that's going to be my E3 presentation. Let's talk about some other really bad E3 presentations from the past. Where's my list? Where's my list? There it is. So I was talking about the Microsoft Kinect presentation of 2010. I didn't even finish because there's one other thing I wanted to talk about really quick, which was, oh, it's great having the Kinect control my movies because I don't have to fumble around in the dark for the remote control. I don't have to remember which one is pause and which one's fast forward. But I don't think I need to add anything else. Let's go ahead and pause that. I know. They're doing the hand thing while sitting there chatting, pretending to talk normally. It's great. It's wonderful. Let's talk about another terrible E3 presentation. Now, I know a lot of people say I am a Nintendo apologist. I disagree with that violently. Let me go ahead and list another terrible E3 presentation. Nintendo 2008. Anyone remember that one? I'll give you a hint. That's when the Wii was kind of riding high, and hey, Snark. And they were like, okay, we're going to come up with a bunch of new Wii games. And there were two Wii games they demonstrated. First was the freaking the Wii music presentation. Okay, fine, I'll leave it playing. There you go. Enjoy. And we're going to have to do this to resync. There you go. You remember that though? They had they had the Wii music, the really 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 terrible, it just absolutely terrible Mario theme mix, and then they had that snowboarding game that woman showed off. I don't even know who she is. I still don't know who she is. And it was just, and they're doing the hand thing. It's great. They're doing the hand. See, I talk with my hands all the time, but this is actually how I talk in real life. I obviously I can't prove that, but if you were to be sitting with me, you know, my sister is right over here and we're just chatting. I talk like this all the time. I'm in the car and I talk like this. What I don't do is very calculated, small movements. Look, he's doing it right now. You just, same movement. There we go. Yep. And then down, and then up. There's only one hand movement. There you go. Just yep, and then yeah, I talk while driving. I actually usually drive with just like two fingers on my left hand. He's doing it. He's doing it. Let's talk about another terrible E3 presentation. Microsoft, again, hate to pick on them again, 2011. You remember the Kinect Star Wars? Because I remember the Kinect Star Wars. I remember the Kinect Star Wars being so badly presented that they legitimately had issue on camera, like right there on screen. They had trouble getting it to work. Like they actually, like he was trying to lift up the thing with the force, and so he's doing the action, and in the game the guy was like doing this. But nothing was happening. It was so badly controlled. It was so terrible. Lightsaber! And then the dancing. Oh my god, it was an absolute mess. Oh, hey, there's Greedo. Greedo's very, very important when it comes to Star Wars. We'll talk about whatever the hell they're talking about when they actually show us it. God damn it. Oh god, yes I do, X-Fac. Oh my god. Hey, Leander. They also had that, the Football Connect. You remember that? I don't remember which specific game it was. It was just the Football Connect thing. Yeah, we're live, Brickor. It just hasn't started yet. Not for another 10 minutes or so. And there's the guy in there playing football. He's like, "Whoa! I'm ready!" Okay. I've picked on Microsoft enough. How about Sony 2006? I pulled that one up, too. I only have two things to say about Sony's 2006 presentation. First of all, this is a game based on historically accurate battles that actually happened in the past, We're actually going to be showcasing some of these things from real Japanese history. So this is a giant crab. Yeah, Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer. But no, let's be honest with ourselves. This is going to be a significant financial investment of $599 US. 599 US bucks. Now, obviously we're just making fun for the sake of amusement here. And let's be 100% clear. They did turn around the PS3. Props to them for actually turning the PS3 around. But when the PS3 was first launched, it was laugh-worthy. It was just, what is this crap? Oh my god. And remember, that was when Sony was at their height. They were sailing high. They were actually dominating the industry at that point in time. With the PS2 just absolutely crushing all opposition, and the PS1 had been absolutely blazing it, and then the PS3 announcement, and then Sony just kind of and I'm getting there, Zed. I'm getting there. You know what? Let's just go there. Konami, 2010, 1 million troops. Wow. 1 million troops. How about the incredibly awkward, the guy who was mumbling so hard that I actually legitimately couldn't tell what he was saying. I just rewatched that conference, the Konami 2010 conference. I still can't understand what the hell that one guy was saying. Or how about the luchadors, the obviously fake luchadors, being like, hey, save it for the ring, okay? Save it for the ring. They're actually slapping each other, but just no, that's not good enough. Okay, how about the thing? Hey, Volcanto. What the crap?
Backstage here at Battlefield 1, and no, I didn't actually fight in World War I. Hey, Jose, so you think this is a competition here? Well, we're in London, England, swinging Britain, and we're going to have a far better time than you are in boring LA. EA Play.
I mean...
Anywho. The Death Stare. You remember when they were talking about Silent Hill, the Silent Hill style games? You remember that? And the guy gets up there, and there's someone just behind it who's doing this. Hang on, I gotta really. Where's my camera? I gotta see where I am. Whoa, and we're off there. So then there's this guy who's just like he's got the most horrifying death stare. I can't even do it in the world. Like he's going. Pax and I were actually talking live when the Konami 2010 was going on, and we're both like, is he gonna murder him? Is he gonna strangle him right there on the screen? Because it was just. Die. Like, I seriously, if you haven't seen it, look, go YouTube right now. Konami 2010 Death Stare. He was just right behind the guy, glaring at him like he was going to stab him. It was horrifying. It was absolutely horrifying. Oh my god. And then there was this is a hack and slash title. An extreme hack and slash title. It's funny. It's a joke. Oh my god. Finally, I got one last one to share. Activision 2007. Okay, this is one that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. They had Jamie Kennedy, who was actually the president of Activision, go up on screen, and I think he was either running on 2 hours of sleep or completely drunk. Legit. Seriously. I think he was absolutely out of his gourd. Get up there doing terrible. I cannot describe in words how terrible of a job he was doing of his presentation. He was like, his teleprompter was over there. and they had actually set it up so he was doing this thing like this. So his presentation was like this. And then there was, oh my god, and then, so he kept saying things like, so yeah, you're making this new game with this company, right? Yeah, it sounds like the Viagra. It's the name of that's the company. That's what it is. And then one person in the background starts laughing. And he's like, see, we're getting it started. We're having jokes. That's how we go it. And so, and he looked like he was terrible. Yeah, I cannot put into words the 2007 Jamie Kennedy presentation. It is abominably terrible. Hang on, Frozen. Hang on. Permit. There you go. Hey, Preacher. I hope things have been going well over there. I mean, I know that it sucks going in, but it's just terrible, and I understand that. And of course, I could bring out the Xbox One conference, but honestly, the only thing I remember most about the Xbox One conference is Sony's reaction to that. Let me give a parallel. Okay. Hey, Bob. Here's a game that I'd like to rent to you, or borrow you. Okay. You remember that? The thing they did on the fly at E3? You know, the whole, because Xbone's whole, this is exactly how you're going to share the, share games on the Xbone. And then Sony was just like, loved that. So, now, it's funny because in the interest of total honesty, I don't think Sony did that well in a positive sense. I just think that Microsoft did so badly that everyone automatically looks at Sony thing like, yep. Way better. Now, Pro asked a question, and God, my chat is zooming by so fast right now. Okay, so Pro Idiot asks about E3 production quality. Were you here for my speech at the beginning? We're leaving chat up, Lateralis. I want chat to be a part of this, too. By the way, hi, everyone. We've got so many people here. I haven't had a chance to say hi to everyone. Hello, everyone. Preacher and Raskor and Lexicon and Kay and Anthony and Zed and Theodoricos and Hanton and Lava and Frozen and Karalis and Samurai and Lateralis again and Tesla and Deutsch and Knickknack and Pokespecial and Pro and Nerozaz and Marley. Lots and lots of people. Hi, everyone. Lots and lots of people. That was everyone who was just on my chat at the moment when I was looking. So Pro asks a genuine question, and you were there from the beginning, so that kind of is my answer. In other words, I'm not going to comment on whether or not I think the overall presentation value of EA or E3 has gone up or down. I think E3's presentation has always been indicative of where the industry is at with regards to the marketers and the money people. Just these two groups, by the way. This is so important. This is super important. You have to keep this in mind. This is not about the games. This is not about the developers. They don't have a say in this. You know what? I can tell you right now from second-hand experience, not first-hand experience, what E3 is like for a developer. All right, Bob. I'm making up a name here. Bob, listen, we need to put together this presentation for this, and I need to look like this and this. I'm going to have the art team come in, and they're going to tell you exactly what they want it to look like, and if it's not up to scuff, you're going to have to get it there, and it has to be due by next week. Get on it, Bob! That's a developer's perspective on E3. And again, second-hand experience from someone I trust. I have no reason to think he's exaggerating. Yeah. This is, now, I do have to admit, I have a lot of sympathy for the people who go up and present. I have made a lot of fun of people, especially for the hand thing, right? Now, for those of you who haven't caught the hand thing, let me both say positively and negatively how the hand thing works, okay? Let's talk about the positive side first. First of all, getting up in front of a conference, in front of a few hundred people, knowing you're in front of a few 100,000 people, is kind of an issue. It is something that most people can't do. Let's just be blunt about it. It's something most people can't do. You get up there and your brain just starts breaking down. And I could actually analyze the psychological side of that, of why people break down when in front of a huge crowd. I'm not going to do that because it'll take too much time and we don't have that much time to talk. This should be starting any minute now. So my heart does go out to those people. The problem is, this is a presentation. This is a big presentation you know is coming, and that its only purpose is to be a presentation. Even if it's just for the business side of things, you should pick people out there who know how to talk. That's what you should do. You shouldn't say, oh, I should put up the president because he's our president. No, you should put up a guy who actually his job is to get up in front of a crowd and talk. You put someone up there with some charisma. You put someone up there with some kind of actual presentation values. You put Neil deGrasse Tyson up there, to go back to my earlier parallel. You don't put, so this year, this game is going to be taught. You don't do that. You don't do the encyclopedia effect when you're presenting something. You're supposed to be presenting. It's actually the very term. This is a presentation conference. You put someone who knows how to actually say something in a way that actually comes across as at least more natural and reasonable. I consider myself pretty good in front of crowds, but I will freely admit I'm probably a bad person to pick for this because I'm just too human. And I mean that both as a positive and as a negative thing. For me, getting up there in front of that, I can do that. But I will be stuttering over my words. And I will be, I'll just kind of have that little stutter like I just did there. I did it artificially there, but you guys have listened to me a few times. You know that I have this very human, I scratch at my neck and I occasionally, fiddle with my glass and stuff. This is just me being me. I have a very human effect. So you don't put someone like me up there. You put someone who looks like he's completely calm and in control the whole time while having some actual charisma behind him, Or you put someone like me up there if you want your game or your presentation or whatever to look more human. It depends on what you're trying to do. And again, this says a lot about the industry. This says a lot about their marketing department. This says a lot about the money people who are making the decisions of what goes on that stage. I don't know what you're talking about, Tesla. I don't have that ready to go at a moment's notice. I have that on every single one of my screens now for OBS, just in case I feel the need to pull it up. Now, let's talk about the negative thing. Some people are like, why is it you constantly make fun of the hands thing? They have classes, okay? I want to describe this as completely as I can. They have classes where they prep you for going up on stage, okay? And what they say is you need to have movement in your thing. Now, as I've kind of been demonstrating without meaning to for the last 41 minutes, when you're talking, you have movement. You talk with your hands, with your arms, with your body, and you kind of do this, right? So one of the things these classes tell you to do is how to move your hands in order to do it, okay? Here's the thing. Most of the time, the people who are going to be going up on stage only have a chance for like the very first class, basically 101 presentation, okay? And that is, use your hands. And they teach you a very basic movement thing. And I've pointed this out before. It is a very exact movement thing. You start at stage 1 right here, okay? Stage 2, stage 1, stage 2. And occasionally you do both, which is stage 3, and then you point. Point is always stage 4, whichever side you're doing it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 1. And it's this whole thing, and I'm not even making this up. I've actually been to these classes. I've actually taught classes like this before. This is years ago, of course, where you teach them these movements to help get... Now, you don't do this as a guide, though, okay? You don't do this to convince people this is how you should present your stuff. That's not what you're doing. You do this to get them used to moving, because if you don't, most people will do this. So I want to present this thing here, and they will be concentrating so much on what they're saying and not stuttering and not screwing it up, and they're so nervous that they won't move at all. I know you've seen what I'm talking about. I know you've seen what I'm talking about, where someone gets up there and they're just doing this. Or maybe they've got their hands in their pockets. And they're just like I'm shaking right now physically, but yeah, they're just doing this thing. Completely stock still, because they're putting all of their effort and all of their thought process into talking and not screwing it up. So the point of these exercises is to get them used to using your hands, get them used to moving, get them used to talking in motion and flow. The problem is, again, they only really have time for that 101 class. And so it gets to the point where it becomes the norm, where the only thing they learned is use your hands. And as I pointed out at last year's E3, there are people who literally do the 0, or the 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. They will literally go back and forth between this pattern. And I kept pointing it out because people didn't believe me. People are like, oh, you're just exaggerating. No, seriously, watch what they're doing. Watch how they're doing it. They are following the pattern. They are literally running through their heads. 1, 2, 1, 2. They're doing it. And that's why we had the hands counter thing. It's also true. So if you're watching the guys who were idiots previously, who were sitting in the chair, they were doing the exact same thing. They were doing this thing. And again, it's this exact same motion. This is just the 1 point thing, over and over and over and over again. And he just kept doing that because he was being told, either before or with the person who was in his ear, move more. Because, and I've talked about this 1,000 times, static motion is simply not as interesting to the human eye as fluid motion. You want it to be moving. So that's why they do the movement thing. For even when you're sitting down, they're like, you need to move. And they don't do like what they could do. Like just off the top of my head, lean back a little bit more. Or maybe stretch your arm out a bit. Maybe kind of like this. Maybe like, And I know what you're saying. Well, they've got the binder in their lap. Yeah, you know what? Here, I'll have a binder in my lap too. I got my schedule binder right here. Bam. Still got my other hand free to do whatever. Just leave it right there. It's not that hard. You can make it look more natural without doing that. Now, it is worth noting that I'm making fun in good fun, okay? With rare with rare exceptions, I am not actually legitimately spitting bile at them, okay? I'm not saying, oh, you're terrible. I'm not saying, oh, you're disgusting. I'm just poking fun because it amuses me, okay? So I want to get that across a little bit better. I am not trying to say, well, these people are disgusting. I'm just trying to let other people in on the joke, So, just my perspective. Now, see, Raskor says you need to look professional, and I actually would agree if they knew what they were doing about that. Someone earlier mentioned, I think it was Kay, pointed out that these really aren't, I said this wasn't about the games and about the developers. Someone earlier mentioned how this was, it's the business side of these things. Of course I did Grok 6. I was actually covering it when it happened. They say that this is more about the business side of things. The thing is, that's not 100% true. So the problem, in my opinion, with regards to what Raskor just mentioned, is right now they're trying a little bit to be both. You remember how I pointed out the Microsoft 2010 Connect conference? One of the things I think that was worst about that was the fact that they were trying to make the conference appeal to children. Children aren't watching that conference. Okay? 18 to 33-year-olds are watching that conference. People who are themselves probably not actually that interested in games. They're trying to have it too much both sides, is what I'm trying to say here. They're trying to have it too much of, we're trying to make it for the audience, the actual gamers, and we're trying to make it for the shareholders and the business side of things. In my honest and total opinion, they should pick a side. Either make it a gaming conference, like it originally was, I might add, when gaming demos were a much more common thing, and like other cons it used to do, or make it a purely business thing. Enough of this in-between thing of trying to be professional, but trying to be casual, but trying to be serious, but whatever. And you guys are saying it's starting, but I'm not sure I believe you. Sorry, here, let me refresh. There we go. Oh, it stopped. Join EA or die! Play our games or die! Rebel and you will die! We will rule you! How's the audio? Oh my God.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to EA Play, coming to you live from the Novo in Los Angeles. It's always cool to be part of something new. This is a brand new event, a brand new venue, and we're kicking things off with a new type of show. Now, we all know you have an insatiable appetite to dive deep into the games you love. but we could never give you everything you want in 60 minutes. And let's be honest, even if we could, you'd also probably rather see and hear it from the community anyway. We get it. So consider this next hour to be a taste, a quick glimpse into a bunch of great stuff that we have in development. This is us opening up the door, welcoming in our players, influencers, media, and partners. We're inviting you in to play. We're surrounded here by hundreds of game stations. Thousands of you will get hands-on with our games this week. Unfortunately, more of you won't. But the content creators here are the ones who can tell you what they see, what they feel, what they like, and even what they don't. And that's fine too. We want your feedback. We want to know what you think. Just as long as you take some time to play. Of course, EA Play is a global experience. So here's a twist. Someone had this crazy idea of hosting EA Play in not one, but 2 locations. And then, I'm pretty sure it was that same person had an even crazier idea of seeing if we could join them live via satellite. So let's welcome Peter Moore and hundreds of our friends from London.
That was great. Two-step. Hey, look, a real crowd. Oh my gosh. Shout-outs to Britain. You're awesome.
We're good. Hi, Andrew. As you can hear, we've got a great
Hey,
crowd
look!
here in London.
Someone knows what to do with his hands.
Iconic Hammersmith Apollo Theatre.
Maybe not that much.
We've got 100
Little
game
bit better.
stations back there. I've got 600 of my best friends. What a great-looking group they are. We are going to have a blast tonight.
Let's just
back to you.
add 20 to this. There we go.
Peter, we'll be back with you in just a bit. Let's quickly set the stage for what you'll see over the next hour. We will take a look into the future of EA Star Wars games.
Ooh.
BioWare will take us further into the next intense chapter of the Mass Effect universe. From
Not
EA
sure.
Sports, we have both competition and story. And of course, Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 are both here today.
Competition officer is a marketing guy.
Right away after this show, we will actually host the first ever live-streamed 64-player Battlefield 1 match. Now, here's a question for you. Did any of you see the Battlefield trailer last month?
Nope. Didn't cover it earlier
I know
today
you
either.
did, and I know a bunch of you were thinking, is this real?
Nope.
Are there actually going to be airships and horses and trench knives and shovels? So 2 things. 1, yes.
Wait, can I be a
and
shovel
2, you can see it for yourselves. Not in another trailer, but with an hour of gameplay live streamed around the world just an hour from now. A few thoughts before we get into the action. Just a decade ago, there were about 200 million game players in the world. We thought that was a lot. Now there are 2.6 billion and growing. We are all part of a global phenomenon. At its core is play, something that is increasingly important to our lives today. For many of us, games are vital. That's what drives us to make games and continue building, creating, innovating, and exploring. We know just how important it is. We see it as our responsibility to help people on all corners of the globe experience play. Because we all play to live. This will be a fantastic 3 days, so let's get started. First up is a great friend and the mastermind behind one of the industry's most compelling franchises, Vincent Bella.
Oh, that was exhausting. Whew. I'm just gonna add another 30 there.
Thank
Hope
you,
you guys
Andrew.
don't mind.
Well, everyone, it's great to be back near E3. So, Titanfall introduced millions of players around the world to the fast, fluid, pilot and Titan gameplay that is at the heart of Titanfall. And with the release of Titanfall 2, we're excited to welcome PS4 players to the franchise for the first time. We'll start off with a look at what players can expect out of Titanfall multiplayer.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Jaina Brodmer. Hang on, let me grab that real quick. All right, let me talk about something while this is playing, okay? They tried Shiryu, if you'll remember. So, one of the other things I point out about the hands gesture is the fakeness of it, okay? The fact that it's so programmed. Like, it looks like, you remember older, like, 90s CGI games where they didn't have animation quite right? So it would look obviously fake? That's what the Fate guy was doing. If you notice, the gentleman who was hosting the London stuff, he was kind of doing the hands thing, kind of like I was, but it was so much more natural in the fluidity of his movement that it actually looked like he was actually animating rather than doing the hands thing. So... Yeah, I was actually going to say this... Oh my god, they've even got the wall jumping thing. Did Titanfall start the wall jumping thing, or was that the Call of Duty thing first? I don't remember, honestly. Well, so far I haven't seen really... Not counting right now, I haven't seen any games to critique yet, Kelvin. Titanfall started, okay.
Woo, I love it.
Actual gameplay, definite positive. So, I'll just go ahead and say that.
Titanfall 2 builds on the signature Pilot and Titan gameplay to deliver a more robust experience, backed by the depth and variety our fans have been asking for. This includes 6 new Titans, each with their own unique combat abilities, expanded Pilot gameplay, more customization options, and a deep progression system. And of course, super smooth gameplay that we've always delivered. Prior to launch, we'll be holding a multiplayer technical test designed to help us stress key features of the game. To play the multiplayer test, go to Titanfall.com and sign up to get all the details. Now, for the 4 people that didn't see the leak this morning, and if you know this, sing along with me, I'm excited to confirm single player!
About time.
So we'll be adding a full, offline playable campaign to Titanfall 2. It'll be crafted to dive deeper into the Titanfall universe, exploring the unique bond between Pilot and Titan, taking full advantage of the movement and combat to deliver a feeling of being unstoppable together. And now here is the debut of the single-player trailer for Titanfall 2, coming October 28th to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Thank you, everyone.
I'm listening. I'm interested, even.
BT-7274. Your data recorder says your original pilot was killed in action.
Correct. My original pilot was KIA. I am now linked to Rifleman Jack Cooper.
Who authorized this?
We had no other options.
What are your protocols?
Protocol 1. Link to pilot. Protocol 2. Uphold the mission. Protocol 3.
BT!
Protect the pilot.
That's one way to control an AI.
Stand by for Titanfall.
Okay.
Trust me.
Yeah, I noticed that, Corwin. You have my attention. Open admittance. Listen to the audience. Wake up, audience! Wow. Oh, hey, it's football. Hang on, I'm actually gonna mute this because I don't feel like getting hit by copyright stuff. So, a new football game. Okay. I don't have anything to discuss about this. What I do have to discuss about is, so initially my reaction to Titanfall was, So it's an expansion? Because everything they listed was the kind of stuff that would basically just be a tiny little bit of additional content that would basically qualify an expansion. Not a whole new game. Now that's not too surprising because this is EA and they tend to try and package expansions as whole new games many, many times. So that was pretty much my whole reaction right up until I saw the single-player campaign thing and the direction they're going with the AI thing, which actually does give me some interest. God, listen to that audience. Terrible. Terrible audience. And now we're in London.
That is Madden NFL 17 for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and as always, the game looks incredible. This year, Madden lets you take your team all the way with the most balanced gameplay to date, new ways to play in franchise mode, and an all-new commentary team. It personifies everything we love about sports. Passion, intensity, and of course, competition. Competition in the world of gaming is esports, and it's absolutely electric. Elite players, a global stage, and of course, big paydays. From the first Madden Challenge 14 years ago to today's competitive Battlefield scene, and of course, the FIFA Interactive World Cup, EA is no stranger to the power of elite competition.
Hashtag screw FIFA.
But the spectacle of esports barely scratches the surface of competition. It's a select few that become pro gamers. That is why EA is embracing a new approach to competitive gaming. We want to make stars of all of our players. With new competitive modes and weekly online contests in our biggest franchises, we're making competition fun and meaningful for everyone, regardless of their ability. As such, I'm excited to announce 3 awesome new ways to compete: Challenger events, Premier events, and EA Major events. With our Challenger series of events, we'll be giving the community an ability to be more easily hosting and running their own tournaments. Next up is the Premier series. These are large-scale live events that we'll host with partners from inside and outside of the gaming world. And finally, there are EA Major events. These are marquee live events run by EA on a global stage. The best players competing for the biggest prizes. And it all starts this weekend at EA Play in Los Angeles with our first EA Major event, the Madden NFL 16 Championship. In a moment, we'll welcome ESPN's Stan Barrett to the stage in LA, who will introduce you to the 8 finalists. But first, let's meet 2 of the fiercest Madden competition out there, Eric Problem Right and Zach Serious Mo Lane.
I need to mute again.
The greatest of all time is the guy to beat.
This guy just wins.
Being the best in the world often inspires awe, reverence, respect. But when you're the best in the world at a video game, everyone thinks they can take you down.
Every day on Twitter, there's people coming in saying that they can beat me. Usually, I just respond in the nature of something like, you know, Floyd Mayweather doesn't fight, you know, Joe Schmo off the street. I am the greatest of all time when it comes to Madden football.
I'm here to win, and whoever's in the way is just, you know, another person that's going to have to get laid out.
I'd like to believe that I'm the best Madden player in the world.
Give it up for Serious Mo!
If anybody can be the heir to problems thrown, a lot of people feel it's going to be Serious Mo.
I'd kind of dedicated my life to this. You know what I mean? When I was 16, I was like at the top of my class, but I would like go to school with like no sleep from being up all night playing Madden.
Being a full-time video game player is hard for a lot of people to understand. It is tough. It is tough to do, and I'll play as many hours as I can just to really get ahead of the competition.
Both Problem and Serious Mo have a claim to the top of the Madden world, and the issue may be settled at the Madden Championship. It's a tournament that started with 1 million players in online qualifiers and ends this week, live in Los Angeles, with $50,000 at stake. These would-be rivals are actually close friends, but don't expect them to take it easy on each other if they meet with a title on the line.
Oh, there's no question I'm going to win the Madden Challenge this time around.
I wish him the best of luck. But,
Did you notice that one of them was exclusively using Xbox control and the other was exclusively using PlayStation?
It started with 1 million players competing online, and now only these 8 remain. The best Madden NFL players in the world. All world-class competitors. They're at the top of their game.
Hey, up next.
And only one is going to be the winner. Let's meet one of the guys here who appears to be a little injured. This is Serious Mo. You saw in the piece. What happened?
I was racing a friend, didn't have my shoes tied, fell down, broke my collarbone.
Didn't have your shoes tied. Are they tied now?
Yes, I am, Zed.
No, they're not tied. All right, we don't want you to fall off the stage. All right, best of luck to you. Best of luck to all of you guys. Now, it's going to be an awesome competition. If you can't be here at EA Play to see it in person, you can tune in. You can watch on Twitch, YouTube, or tune into ESPN3 to watch all the action live, or join us at ESPN2, 6 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday for the finals. Now, let's send it back to Peter in London.
Oh, this is suddenly much better.
Thank you, Stan. Looking forward to some great action this week. But let's also take a moment to talk about the year ahead. I'm excited to announce the Madden NFL 17 Championship Series.
Oh, my God. Okay, so I do have something to talk about here. Believe it or not. A legitimate thing to talk about, okay? Obviously, most of my viewers are not going to be interested in sports games. Let me go ahead and go out of the way of saying that I actually do like some sports games. I'm just really picky. Like, really picky about what sports games I enjoy. Although the audience was that dead, I could hear it on my end. But I also muted it. Someone who's a mod, permit Darkrai really quick. I'm kind of busy. So, a lot of people are really dismissive about the FIFA and the Madden series. Let me go ahead and go on record to say that I don't actually agree with that when it comes to reality. In other words... Oh, hang on. We're going to BioWare.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. At the heart of Mass Effect Andromeda is a question. How far will we go? In the game, you are part of an ambitious expedition, leaving the Milky Way galaxy to help humanity find a new home.
Why?
You travel millions of light years to the Andromeda galaxy. You wake up. Now what? Everything is new. New planets, new species, new technologies.
Please forget about Mass Effect 3.
You must be among the most courageous, the most daring to go on this journey. Because this is a galaxy where you are the alien. How far will we go? That question is also at the heart of the development of Mass Effect Andromeda. The Mass Effect trilogy is a huge part of our history and the lives of many of our fans. It was an amazing story, but this is a whole new adventure.
Please forget about Mass Effect 3,
you love about Mass Effect. Amazing stories and gameplay, and now we're letting our imaginations run wild. This is a bigger adventure filled with a whole new cast of memorable characters and more freedom than we've ever given players in a BioWare game.
Don't promise that.
And for the first time, it's all powered by Frostbite, which means you're going to see, hear, and feel Mass Effect like never before. That's our promise to you. So how far will we go? Well, we can't wait to share more with you this fall. Here's a look behind the scenes at Mass Effect Andromeda. Thank you.
Fire the sound guy while we're on the subject. They won't show gameplay.
Our survival
Predicting
as
it
a
right now.
species has always depended on our drive to seek out the undiscovered.
I'm not saying it, Preacher.
Push
They're saying
beyond
it.
our limits and expand the boundaries of
Tell me you
our
didn't
known
hear it.
world. With Mass Effect, we are going further than ever before. To Andromeda, to build a new home for humanity.
Okay. You realize Mass Effect was already a very alien, very lush setting.
Imagine distant star systems.
You can't really get more
hostile planets.
Like, this might as well be in our galaxy.
Teeming with alien life and civilizations.
Including the Asari.
Worlds where adventure, danger, and the unknown are waiting to be discovered.
I say, this isn't actually anything new. They're not showing anything new.
We've created a universe that you will lose yourself in. A whole new galaxy for you to explore.
We built a new citadel, too. No substance. I have nothing to comment on.
All right. How's
God,
everyone
go
doing?
away.
Okay. I hope you're loving what you've seen so far. We've still got a bunch more ahead, including FIFA, Star Wars, and of course, Battlefield 1. But first, let's have a practical conversation about play. Many of these games we're talking about today are months away. Meanwhile, I'm sure you're all playing games that you've already invested a ton of time in. So our commitment is to support the community. It's a commitment to continue delivering new content to enjoy with your friends. In just the last year alone, we delivered more than 300 game updates to our most popular games. This year, that number will be even higher. And for EA Play this week, we have our biggest collection of content updates ever across both console, PC, and mobile. We've also got free trials to help you discover and try something new this week, like the Outer Rim expansion for Star Wars Battlefront, or check out some new games through EA Access for Xbox One and Origin Access for PC. Both have more than 20 great games available in the vault, and they are free for everyone to try all week long. Now here's one more way we hope you'll play this week. We have a new program called Play to Give. It's a big deal for us, and it's unlike anything we've ever done before. We're bringing together in-game challenges with charitable donations. First, the charities. At EA, we celebrate charitable causes that encourage a more diverse and inclusive world for all of us, as well as those that inspire and assist future game makers through STEM education. So we've partnered with 5 great organizations for EA Play. The UN He for She Initiative, National Center for Women and Information Technology, Special Effect, Code.org, and Code 2040. Now the challenges. There are 5 of them that are designed to celebrate our player community this week. Some examples. In Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline, there's a new objective that's based on helping out your teammates in need. We're celebrating strong female characters in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes as you deploy a special squad to battle against the droids. And in FIFA Ultimate Team, if you can win with the Play to Give Cup, you receive an untradeable rare mega pack. It all comes together at the end of EA Play when we donate $1 million in celebration of the importance of play. Now let me send it back to Peter for some big news on FIFA 17. Peter, over to you.
Yeah, let me check the hands counter really quick. I was keeping very, very careful track during that one. There we go. That's about right.
Let me check. How's everyone doing?
An audience. Oh, my God.
I think we're winning. Thanks, Andrew, and welcome back to London. Now, like me,
yes.
I know many of you are excited that we're in the middle of a summer full of football. England looked good last night, till about the 92nd minute. But to be here in England at the heart of football, there's no better place to show you what's next. You'll see in a moment just how far FIFA has come from its debut in 1993. This is a revolutionary year for FIFA, for the most popular sports game on the planet. This is FIFA 17.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
I remember that one. Yeah, believe it or not, European football and American football are different things.
So you will. My name is Alex Hunter. And just like you and every other kid that's grown up kicking about a football,
I've always dreamed of playing on the biggest stage for the best tactical minds in the game, alongside the greatest names. Playing in the park with my mates, I've already pictured it. Taking flawless 50-yard passes from Beckham, sending in Messi with the perfect through ball, burying it in the top corner like Rooney. Now, I have the chance to make that dream my reality. To pull on a Premier League shirt and maybe even one day step into the center circle of Wembley, 3 lions on my chest. This is the start of my journey. I know it won't be easy, but if I can perform on the pitch, make the right decisions off it, and take advantage of every opportunity that comes my way, this is the start of my journey.
Now, I actually follow...
And you're all coming with me.
Football. European football. And I have no idea who that guy is. Anyone know who he is? Legitimate question.
We've heard a lot about the talent of this young man, Alex Hunter. He had a wide choice of clubs to sign for. Today, his journey begins as he makes his Premier League debut.
I haven't seen a kid coming out of the exit trials generate this much interest in years. I never expected anything like this.
Yes! A goal for Alex Hunter on his debut.
You're in the big league now. You have to raise your game. You need representation, you call me.
Wow! Check this place out!
Just don't get too carried away. Can disappear just like that.
I don't know. Look at Rooney's weekly
Life
sourly
doesn't always
sometimes.
give you what you want, does it?
Tell me he could disappear randomly.
I'm ready.
sometime.
You'll get your opportunity, Hunter. Just get me out of there.
Oh, we might as well pack this season in now. What was he thinking?
I want to stay and fight for my place. I won't let you down.
Alex Hunter, an outstanding goal. Welcome to the Premier League. This young man has everything.
We're going to make history.
Incredible, Hunter!
My name is Alex Hunter. You don't know me, but believe me, you soon will.
I have thoughts about that. God, listen to that crowd. Or the absence thereof. Okay, that's a little better. They were just wrong on the audio. Never mind, it's just the audio guy's fault.
So that's amazing. What you just saw is a brand new experience in FIFA 17 called The Journey. You'll live your Premier League story through the player we just met.
Yeah, I don't give a damn. So, actually, hang on. Let me do this differently.
Engine.
There we go. I like that. It's brave, and it's bold, and it's very... What they are doing is risky. That move is legitimately a risky move. To make a single-player campaign in a sports game with a long-standing history, that's something new. It will probably fail. But I am at least on board with it because it's something new. They're adding new blood to it. And at the very least, that's trying. So consider me interested. See, I was going to say, because they've had things before where they've had single-player campaign modes. Build your own career mode, that kind of a thing, right? Other games have done that. But an actual story mode is something I haven't encountered before. Now, I'm told by chat that NBA 2K and NBA Live did that. That's news to me. I never heard about that. I'm going to have to just shrug on that one. Nevertheless...
Did I say 3? I'm not quite sure. Ladies and gentlemen, Jose Mourinho. So I apologize. I don't write the scripts here. I don't do the game. Jose, of course, is in the game. And it is a great honor for Jose to join the EA family, to be in FIFA 17 as the great manager now, of course, of Manchester United.
Okay. Just, yeah. Don't stress it, guys. Different guy. Probably fearsome. Yeah, that's Jose Marino, or at least that's how I've always heard it said as. I don't like Marino, personally. And again, speaking of someone who actually follows football, I don't like Marino at all. So, anywho, I'm not even going to say anything about him. That's a whole other thing. So, and legitimate question, I've never heard him said his name said as Jose, ever. I've always heard it said as Jose. Is that wrong? Is that right? I'm just curious. I'm just saying. Now, granted, I've always heard British people say Jose. But what the hell do I know? So there's Marino. I'm just going to say it as that. He's still a jackass, so I'm going to pronounce his name incorrectly on purpose because I hate him. I'm going to call him Ose. Just get rid of it entirely. No, Paladin, it is not. I follow Formula 1 quite a bit, actually. Maybe Ventures. It's okay. Every time it's been something that's been happening. Hosen! Yes! Hosen Marino! I like that. He is now one of the Hosen. I'm going to keep saying Jose Marino. Not because I am stubborn, but because I hate his face. No, seriously, this guy's a complete jackass, and I hate him. In my opinion, of course.
I didn't call him the special one. He doesn't like it. Okay, we've shown you a lot today, but we're not done. It is my pleasure to introduce you to FIFA producer.
Yep, okay. I did have a topic about the FIFA thing, okay? Someone permit Sean. Here's the topic, okay? You ready for this? Yeah, I hate Hitler too, Axheck, and he's dead. So there are certain types of games where one of the most common criticisms about those games is it's the same damn game over and over, right? Like, it's just oh my god, they're just repeating the gameplay over and over and over. Now, whether or not that's valid is much more debatable. What I mean by that is anyone who is genuinely a fan of the FIFA series could look at that and say, well, they've added this feature and this feature and this functionality each new game. And I know this because I actually have a few friends who are interested in FIFA. Just whisper it to a mod who isn't me if the bot isn't having issues, or if the bot is having issues. By the way, Manchester United for life, just saying. Also Arsenal. Love Arsenal. So there are people who look at the Dynasty Warriors series and say, each new game, it's changed a little bit. There are people who look at the Pokemon series and say, each new game changes a little bit. Now, from the external perspective, that's not true. The external perspective, they look at that and say, well, nothing changes each game. Each new Pokemon game is the same game. Each new FIFA game is the same game. Each new Dynasty Warriors game is the same game. Each new Madden game is the same game. There have been a few of those. Each new Formula 1 game is the same game. Each new Magic the Gathering game is the same game. Now, whether or not that's valid is something that people outside of the fan base, in my honest opinion, don't have the right to talk about. What I mean by that is that is him. Not him. Martial. That was Martial earlier. Anyways, each new Mario Kart is the same. Each new Mario game is the same. Each new Call of Duty game is the same. Whether or not these things are valid is something someone outside of the fan base can't judge, because someone within the fan base, and I'm not talking about fanboys. We've discussed fanboys. Fanboys are over there, okay? They're in their own little pocket of reality, and has nothing to do with us. An actual fan can look at this and say, you know what? This and this and this have changed, and that makes me like this better than the last one. Yeah, what Macon just said, the changes seem small. We may even be aware of these changes from an external perspective. We all make fun. We all say, oh, FIFA never changes, Madden never changes, Pokemon never changes, Mario never changes, Call of Duty never changes. But if they actually... Oh, hang on.
With Unravel, you met Yarny, a tiny little character with a huge heart going on an epic adventure. You also met Martin Salin, a passionate and creative game maker from the Cold War studio that brought Yarny to life. We knew Unravel would steal your hearts because it stole ours. But it also showed us something profound. When we first saw Unravel, we saw a game that we knew deserved the world's attention. It deserved to be played. We also know that there are more out there, more studios like Coldwood, more games like Unravel. Passionate developers telling amazing stories, creating spectacular games.
Translation.
We are committed
We
to
support
working
indie.
with small developers, finding these great new games, and giving all of you a chance to discover their magic. So today, we are very excited to announce EA Originals. Our EA Originals program is about 3 things. Firstly,
doing what
it's about
Nintendo already
taking
did.
first-time experiences that are unique, gorgeous, innovative, and memorable,
Hang on.
and bringing them to the world.
Didn't Sony already
Secondly, it's
do
about
the indie thing?
supporting small developers and helping them make the most of their games. Now, we'll seek out a few projects each year for EA Originals and partner with them through the whole process.
Yeah, this
from
is old, isn't
development
it?
To marketing to publishing. And lastly, it's about funding and offering a level of security. Now, making games is hard. It's a hard business. And these small developers have risked themselves to develop a new IP and created games and great games deserve to be played. Now, check this out. With EA Originals, we want all the profit from these games to go back into the hands of the developers, so they can keep innovating and creating into the future. Now, we've already begun with EA Originals, so please welcome to our stage Klaus Lyngeled from Zoink Games in Gothenburg. He's here to take you into the beautiful world of our first EA Originals game called Fe.
So hang on. I'm okay with the idea of supporting indie developers, but this is not new, nor is it news.
Hi, everyone. Wow, it's amazing to be here, joining you all at EA Play here in Los Angeles. It's,
oh God,
well,
watch
it's
his
really
hands.
huge for me, and I'm super excited to be here. I run a small game studio in Sweden, in Gothenburg, called Zoink, and we're about 20 people brought together by our fascination for new approaches to interactive storytelling and art. And recently, we've been on a journey with a very special new project.
Oh, he's super nervous.
Thanks to Patrick and EA, we're here today to bring you along with us. Let me introduce you to the world of Fe. At its heart, Fe is a personal narrative about our relationship with nature.
In Night Strike.
It's a game without words, a celebration of our longing to be one with the world around us. It's a story that reminds us that everything in this world is connected, living in a delicate balance that is constantly under threat. You awaken as a young cub, all alone in a dark forest glade, and you have no idea who you are or how you got there. But as you spy from the treetops, you'll soon come to know the extraordinary creatures that live in this forest. And you'll find that they are all connected through their own language, a language of strange and beautiful music.
There's no could
See,
psychotic.
Every animal, every breathing creature, and even the plants, they all have their own unique song. And by learning them, you can connect to the forest, to understand it, to be part of it. Each song you learn will help you reach new parts of the forest and take you ever closer to discovering the secret of your own kind. But you are not the only newcomer to the forest. The silent ones corrupt the forest and spread their silence with each step. As you evade them using stealth and cunning, you will uncover their terrible purpose. This is a game full of discovery, conflict, and relationships. But as you explore the world of Fe, we're not going to hold your hand. The game won't tell you where to go, what to do, or how to think. We will set the stage and invite you into the forest for your own personal experience. An experience that will leave you scared, amazed, and delighted. In the forest, your discoveries will be your own. I'm very proud to now show you more about the beautiful world of Fe. Thank you.
Don't let me forget to talk about that, because I've got stuff to talk about there. Or is there going to be no dialogue? So first of all, EA gets no points for that whatsoever. I want to make that absolutely clear, okay? EA gets 0 points for that. Just like they got 0 points for Unraveled last year. Just like they got 0 points for Pele. You know, the EA is trying to buy, literally buy, credibility, okay? That guy gets points. The guy that just put on stage, he gets points from me. Just like the Unraveled guy got points from me last year. Looks like an interesting game so far. The overall presentation looks enjoyable. I'm with it. And one thing you'll notice, and this is how I will say that he was genuine, okay? You'll notice when he started, he sounded much more nervous than when he finished, because once he started talking about something that mattered to him, once he felt like he could speak with confidence about something, in this case, speaking about something he knew, like his game, then he started gaining speed, and his tone leveled out, and he started shaking a lot less, and he started having fewer stumbling blocks in his words. He gained more confidence as he was talking about his game. So I think he was genuine. Hi, Star Wars. What's up?
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here to talk about our Star Wars games.
Han shot first.
Right now, we have teams across the world creating a wide range of Star Wars games for all types of Star Wars fans.
Really?
These teams are being led by some of the creative
I want a Star
minds
Wars
who've made some
RTS.
of our favorite
Can you make that up?
games
No?
of the last
How about a Star
decade.
Wars strategy game in general?
And now they're
Star Wars
channeling their
XCOM?
talent and
Star Wars
passion
Civilization?
to bring you
How about Star Wars
all
TIE
new
Fighter?
experiences that will span many
Could you make Republic
corners
Commando
of the
again? That was
Star
good.
Wars universe for
No?
years to
Okay.
come.
Okay, just thought I'd ask.
Let's break it down. Already today, you can play Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes,
That
Star
is
Wars
not a-
Old Republic, and of course,
I'm going to play Star Wars Galaxies right
Battlefront.
now.
Each of these games
actually have
are
it
live
right here.
and getting fresh, new
Hang on.
content
I'm going to
all
play
year long.
Star Wars Galaxy
Next
Heroes
year,
right now.
you're going to get a new installment of Star Wars Battlefront. Led by DICE, in collaboration with Motive, we're building on the foundation of the first game. We're listening to our players and adding more of what you want, including content
There we go.
from the new
I am now
films.
playing Star Wars Galaxy Heroes.
Then coming in 2018 is a new action-adventure game from Visceral Games. Amy Hennig and team are creating an original narrative in the Star Wars universe with new characters. And beyond that, we've got more amazing projects in store, including one from our partners at Respawn Entertainment. They are exploring a different Star Wars era in their own third-person action-adventure game. We can't wait for you to play these games. I can't wait to play them myself. Here's a special peek behind the curtain at the EA Star Wars games we're working on with Lucasfilm. Thank you, and may the Force be with you.
Hey, I won. I won the battle, guys.
The Star Wars universe is growing day by day with the comics, the films, the games, you name it. And to be a part of that and to work with Lucasfilm is incredibly exciting. So what we're really trying to do at EA is cater to different areas of the Star Wars universe and create different game experiences that are tailor-made for those fans.
With Star Wars Battlefront, we wanted to really be able to bring people into the world of Star Wars like never before. What excites me now is bringing in more characters, more planets, more environments, more eras. And that's why we're super happy to have both Motive Studios and Criterion contributing in a significant way.
There's no point in making something in the Star Wars IP if you're just going to do what's been done before, right? So it's a fantastic opportunity for Motive to really tell the world what we're about. And we're going to bring that to Battlefront, which is, it's crazy. It's incredible.
As a studio, our promise to gamers is ultimately gameplay first. We all demand that the game has these huge wow moments that translates really well into the Star Wars universe. We're going to deliver that Star Wars awe like fans have never seen before.
With Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, we talked a lot about how we grew up as kids with Star Wars, and we collected toys, we'd bring them over to a friend's house, and we'd set up these battles where sometimes it was what we'd seen in the films, and sometimes it was just this random mashup of stuff that we wanted to play from our own imagination. Our aim is to bring in characters from all the films, all the TV shows, and even beyond.
Star Wars is what got me into role-playing games in the first place, that storytelling you did as a kid with your Star Wars action figures. With Star Wars: The Old Republic, the choices you make, the freedom you have, that's really at the heart of a BioWare game. And beyond The Old Republic, there are so many stories that we still want to tell.
Our goal has always been not to just sort of make a game that is set in the Star Wars universe, but to really tell an authentic Star Wars story. And that's actually a
Visceral
hugely
made
different
Dead
thing.
Space for a little bit of perspective.
How do you
here.
ground the new and unfamiliar in the familiar?
I'm not saying there's a
You need
negative,
the
by
guidance
the way.
of someone like Doug Chang to show you the way.
One of the great joys of working with Amy is she is like a film director in many ways, because she is telling her story and I'm helping to realize her world.
And Amy Hennig, by the way. Some of you should recognize her.
EA has some really exciting plans in the works for the Star Wars portfolio, and what we're doing is bringing in talent from across the industry and letting them loose. We have completely different games on the horizon, and I just hope that every fan walks away going, wow, I never thought they were going to bring my Star Wars fantasy to life.
Woo, Pearson.
Thank you, Jade, and thank you to all our studio teams working on Star Wars games today. So, here we are. One last game. Let's talk Battlefield 1. You might be wondering why I'm up here again. Well, my journey with Battlefield started over 2 decades ago, when DICE was still a small indie studio. We were dreaming about conquering the world and sharing our games with more and more players. Now, I've been involved in each and every part of this series, and it's humbling to serve a Battlefield community today that has grown to more than 60 million players around the world. That is truly incredible, so thank you. It also means that we have a great responsibility to deliver on the promise of Battlefield with every game. We have to take creative risks, to pioneer. So we knew from the start that Battlefield 1 could be no ordinary game. Now let me tell you a quick story about the inception of Battlefield 1. A few years ago, 2 guys in our studio at DICE in Stockholm, Stefan Strandberg and Martin Kopparhed, kept telling me that they had the concept for the next Battlefield. And each time we met, they showed me more and more ideas from the team. Now, I'll be honest, I was skeptical. I was like really skeptical. And I told them, I don't think we have it yet. But they kept pushing, they kept coming back. And then one late night in Stockholm, they brought me a very special pitch. An absolutely mind-boggling pitch, unmistakably Battlefield, and set in a very unique take on World War I. Right then and there, that's when we knew we had to make this game. So when you stand here introducing a game like Battlefield 1 to tens of millions of dedicated players, you know the risks were worth it.
It's the same trailer. Seriously.
Use your mind, you're gonna get us all killed!
No, it isn't. Okay, good.
Head was behind!
Wait, that's it? You just started.
So that was just a piece of our EA Play trailer, and you'll get to see the full version in just a bit. But first, I want you to know that our team at DICE in Stockholm has huge ambitions for Battlefield 1. We've set out to deliver an epic and unforgettable experience for our players. And the result is a dynamic experience where no battle is ever the same. But as talented as our DICE team is, it is you, the Battlefield community, that powers the team. That is why at the world premiere last month, we revealed Battlefield 1 alongside our players. We want the community to be part of this every step of the way. And today marks another exciting milestone in the road to Battlefield 1, our first in-depth look at gameplay. And to reveal that, I'm honored that we have players from our community here to lead the first ever live stream of Battlefield 1 immediately following the press conference.
Yeah.
And our host, Jose Sanchez, is with a few of them right now.
Thanks, guys. I am excited because today we are going to see actual gameplay straight from Battlefield 1 under the command of two solid teams with players like Jamie Foxx, Zac Efron are going to be on those teams. Are you guys pumped for tonight's event?
Yes. Jazzed. Can't wait.
Wait.
Dude, stoked.
Jamie Foxx?
I know I'm excited,
Really?
and coming up in a few minutes, we have the Battlefield Squad's live stream kicking off. 64 players going head-to-head, 32v32 in a best-of-3 matchup, and I can't wait to see wins. Good luck to the both of you guys and your respective teams. Now let's go back up to Patrick and find out exactly what makes this game so epic.
Yep, that's right. We're going to show you actual gameplay. Here's a celebrity.
Thank you,
Then we're going to
Jose.
talk about actual gameplay. Let's go back to the
So
stage.
only in
We're going to show
Battlefield
you
1
actual
will you engage in
gameplay.
some of the biggest battles ever seen, as you squad up in epic multiplayer matches with up to 64 players.
I answered
Now,
that
that's
question
going
earlier,
to be
Fearsome.
really cool to watch.
Legit.
And in just a few minutes, you'll get to see how no battle is ever the same. Through the power of Frostbite, intuitive destruction, dynamic weather, and a variety of weapons and vehicles makes this the most immersive and dynamic Battlefield game ever. So let's start by talking destruction, a hallmark for Battlefield. In Battlefield 1, destruction is more intuitive and natural than ever. This creates unlimited gameplay possibilities as you impact the world around you. And next, dynamic weather. Weather will now change unpredictably, so you will need to adjust your tactics based on the conditions. So playing the same map on a bright day or in heavy fog or rain will impact what you see or hear, so you have to adapt your playstyle.
Guys, things
And
that
finally,
change what you see will change what
an
you see.
impressive variety of weapons and vehicles add to
Also,
the
anyone
range of
remember Mag?
experience you'll have on the battlefield. And most notable, the introduction of the ultimate vehicles, the behemoths. The Great War gave birth to some of the largest vehicles ever made, and Battlefield 1 gives you the chance to control these beasts. Take control of an airship, armored train, or a battleship to dominate the battlefield across air, land, and sea. An all-out war has never felt so epic. When Battlefield 1 launches on October 21st, worldwide, you will experience destruction, weather, and a variety of weapons and vehicles that ensure no battle is ever the same. And for those of you who are Battlefield insiders, you get an early access to experience this firsthand during the open beta later this summer. All right. In just a few minutes, the Battlefield Squad's live stream will begin. But
Real
first,
gameplay.
Let's take another look at Battlefield 1. Thank you.
Let's watch that trailer one more time. Because we've only seen it 30 times. In-game footage! Liar! Wait. Isn't this the one we literally just saw, like, 2 or 3 minutes ago? It is. This is the one we just saw. I've decided to replace the music here with my own music. The short answer, Fearsome, is that the reason they don't show gameplay footage is because this isn't a press conference for gamers or the games or the developers, as I said many times at the beginning of my thing here. Horses! Cavalry charge against machine gun fire. Make it happen! Oh, this is ridiculous levels of padding, Fearsome. This is just crazy. This is insane. Switch to London. Quick! We need an audience that's actually reacting. Technically, no one, Tesla.
We're going to change the world, indeed. It looks
it's for the shareholders.
Absolutely amazing, Battlefield 1. So that's our show. We have Battlefield 1 playables right behind me here in London. We've got Titanfall 2. We've got FIFA 17. We've got Madden 17. We here in London are going to have a great time tonight. We're here through midnight. It's going to be phenomenal. Andrew, I'm sure you're going to have the same there. Back to you in Los Angeles.
Thanks, Peter. All right, so that's our show. And now, the way I see it, I'm the only thing standing between you and an hour of Battlefield 1 gameplay. So let's keep this quick. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you to all of you here in Los Angeles. And, of course, thank you to everyone in London as well. We're just getting started here at EA Play, so stay with us. There's a lot more to come. And now it's time to play. Thank you.
I'm just gonna... Right, hang on. I gotta, like, de-synthesize for a second. I need to get rid of all the bile here. Just need to pull it out of my mind here. Notice people are already shuffling out of the audience. Okay, let's talk about this legit. Let's go ahead and look at this from as quiet and analytical of a perspective as I can. I think I only saw one thing in that entire conference that I would consider content. And it was the FIFA thing. I'm dead serious. Oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. Sorry. Two things. Two things that were actual content. What? That is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. That was horrifying. Three things. Sorry. So, okay. Hang on. So, okay, this is just sad. Their marketing team has failed, at least to me, because of the fact that they actually did present three things that I actually care about, and yet as I was going through it, it actually was difficult for me to remember them. I mean, legit. What did we learn about the Star Wars games they have planned? Well, they're pushing the mobile game, and they're working on a couple other ones, like an expansion for Battlefront, and something else they're doing from the company, from Visceral. Okay. What did we learn about Mass Effect Andromeda? How far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go? How far... What did we learn? So, the Titanfall thing, admittedly, looked at least interesting. They've got a single-player campaign. They're doing some pseudo-interesting things with what I've seen of the storyline so far. Cool. I'm actually kind of on board with that. So that got my attention. The indie game, that got my attention. Well, lurker. That actually, again, EA does not get credit for that. Let me make that 100% clear. They bought that cred. And that means they didn't earn it, and that means they can go screw themselves. But the indie game itself did look interesting. The whole trying to make it look like the whole EA Originals thing is some brand new amazing idea is marketing garbage. I'm just going to say that as bluntly as I can. First of all, EA is not the first team that has started pushing indie development, trying to back indie development. Second of all, not only are they not the first team, EA themselves have already backed indie development. So it's not even true for their own company. They have rebranded it, put it under a different title, and that way they can say, technically, that this is their first EA Originals game, even though they've been pushing indie games for the better part of 2 years now. So they get zero credit from that. They didn't show anything about Call of Duty Remastered. I was actually a little surprised by that. Then there's the third thing that was interesting is I've already forgotten it. God, that's how disinteresting it was. So they had the Titanfall thing, the indie game. And the FIFA thing, the fact that there's actually going to be a FIFA game that's trying something relatively new, admittedly caught my attention. That admittedly was something that made me think of that. So, okay. When did I mention Call of Duty? Seriously, I don't remember mentioning Call of Duty, so that means I misspoke and used the wrong word. I probably meant to say Titanfall, if I was to guess. Oh, no, never mind. I was talking about Modern Warfare. That's right. Sorry. You're right. No, yeah, so wow, that's really saying something. I was looking at Titanfall and thinking it was a Call of Duty game. And so my mind was just sort of automatically associating this conference with the one that should show Call of Duty. And then I was like, well, that's weird. They didn't actually have Call of Duty, the Modern Warfare thing here. Weird. That was pathetic. That was absolutely pathetic. That was one of the worst... No. I've seen worse E3 presentations. I'm using the wrong word. This is one of the worst... I'm saying the wrong word again. This is one of those boring E3 presentations I've ever seen. Early on, I at least had something to make fun of, and it got to the point where I basically had nothing to say. I had nothing to comment on. I didn't have even have anything to make fun of in a kind of a lighthearted method. It was so forgettable and so disinteresting that I have nothing. Now, I've seen worse than that. In fact, I talked about worse earlier. In fact, I wrote down a list of worse from earlier, like that wonderful Konami 2006 one, or how about that amazing Microsoft 2010 one, or the Nintendo 2008 one. There are much worse, in my opinion, E3 conferences than that one. But they're like disgustingly terabad. This was just empty. Or if I can use a parallel, which do you think is the worst episode from the next generation? Shades of Grey or Code of Honor? For those of you who don't actually know the names of the episodes off the top of your head, Code of Honor is the terrible episode from Season 1 with the, and there's no nice way to say this, the all-black planet, and the disease and all that fun stuff, the terrible racism. And then Shades of Grey is the clip show episode, also the only clip show episode that TNG has ever done. Some people would argue one is worse, and someone would argue the other is worse, because some people believe a bad episode is worse, and some people believe an empty episode is worse. And Code of Honor is bad, and Shades of Grey is empty. So I'm not saying either way is correct here. I'm just giving the difference here, because this was an empty presentation. This was devoid. This was absent. Now, and I don't even have anything else to talk about. I covered most of the things I wanted to talk about. I talked about the whole, I talked about the entire, Pax says that Shades of Grey was worse. I talked about, the FIFA thing. I talked about, I'm actually moderately interested in several other things. It would be a bit of a shame if this stuff only comes out in Origins, because that means I'm probably not even going to think about picking it up. I do like how several times they were like, and we're going to show you real gameplay, and then the next presenter would say, and then we're going to show you real gameplay, and then the next presenter would say, and then we're going to show you real gameplay. And they kept talking about how something was going to happen soon, but it never actually came to be. But I digress. As I said earlier, these conferences are not made... They're made for the shareholders. That's where they're targeted at. They're targeted specifically at the unique market of shareholders, people who don't really know business, but also people who don't really know games. And I've believed for years now that that's one of the reasons why E3 is in the state that it currently is, why they are not fully professional like an actual business conference would be, and they're not fully gaming like an actual gaming conference will be. We've got this weird mishmash in between thing. So let me pull up my thing here, because we are going to be covering Bethesda. I have all the ones I'm going to cover up on my website for anybody curious of which ones I'm covering. Oh my god, looks like Bethesda doesn't happen until 10 tonight, my time. Jeez. And then the Sony one is 9 p.m. tomorrow night. The Nintendo's at noon, that's nice. So I am covering Bethesda tonight. That would be at 10, so that's going to be, looks like about 4 hours and 45 minutes from now is when I'm going to be covering The Bethesda stuff. So, anybody wants to join me for it, feel free. I'd love to have you guys here. I also, I would love for Django and Z1 to be there, because I know those two have been the biggest detractors. Oh, and Samurai to be there, because I know they're the biggest detractors for Bethesda, and I would love to have a differing perspective on that. Some people have asked me, I want to answer this question here really quick. Some people ask me, what am I excited about at E3? And the answer is nothing. I don't mean to sound negative, but there's nothing that's made me go, oh, I can't wait to hear about blah, that I've heard about at E3 thus far. It is my hope that I will actually be pleasantly surprised this year. This would not be the first year I've had that hope. I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. I got some other work I'm going to get done while we get there. So, fingers crossed for some good stuff. And I will see you guys in about 5 hours.